Hello YouTube, Chris back again. I'm gonna keep rolling with the NFL, of course, because the season's really close. It's an exciting part of the year, of course. But I'm gonna make this video on NFL cuts less far. I might continue this due to the fact that they're down to the 75-man roster. So when it gets down to 53, maybe there's going to be other players that I want to talk about, maybe their possible destinations, teams they could help out, and things of that juncture. So there's 7 players here. I'm going to name teams I think they can go to, teams they can help out, and just background on those players in general. So and if anyone that I might forget, just add that in the comment section. That's what you guys are for. So the first one, I'm going to start with Braylon Edwards. I think there's a lot of teams that could really use this guy. He's a big body wide receiver who runs very fast, so he's a great deep threat in terms of, and I allude to this all the time, but he can go run the football, catch the football down the field, or he can be that big body guy that makes goes up and gets that catches the football, good red zone target guy, good third down guy. So I'm gonna implicate some teams here that I think that could really use him. The Chicago Bears, opposite of Brandon Marshall, who's a big body, great wide receiver in his own right. He's going to see a lot of doubles, and he did last year. They don't really have another receiver to help him out. You add a guy like Braylon Edwards, who isn't a great every single down receiver, but he's a guy that is a playmaker. When I think of Braylon Edwards, I think of playmaker. And he's a guy who can make plays across from Brandon Marshall, take a little bit of pressure off of him. Bengals, everything I said about Brandon Marshall is the exact same as A.J. Green. So, and now they added, another tight end. So the middle of the field, they might be good, working the middle of the field with Gresham and Tyler Effort. But I think Andy Dalton needs another outside threat. This guy can make plays opposite of A.J. Green. Pittsburgh Steelers, they have 2 good, small, quick possession receivers who can also get down the field and, beat you with their speed, quickness, agility, and make plays after the catch in Sanders and Antonio Brown. But they lost Plexico Burress for the season. He was good for them as a third down receiver, as a red zone receiver. So I think Braylon Edwards would be great in that role as the same thing, only he could get down the field because he's faster than Plexico Burress. So I think that that Plexico Burress loss I think was a little bigger than people think, because they need a big body guy that can make plays to complement the smaller guys that they have that beat you with their quickness and agility. So the Steelers, I'm going to go with the Patriots. They don't really have a lot of wideouts. They have some slots like a Danny Amendola, like a Julian Edelman, but they don't have a guy on the outside that can really be a great deep threat, make plays on the perimeter. I think that Braylon Edwards could do that, and just think of what he could accomplish with Tom Brady. To wrap that up for Braylon Edwards, I'm going to say the Detroit Lions can use this guy because, actually no, there's one other team besides the Lions. The Detroit Lions can use him. Same thing with Megatron. You have a great, probably the best receiver, actually the best receiver. It's indisputable at this point in time. He's the best wide receiver. He sees ridiculous double coverage, ridiculous attention. So why not get a guy opposite of him who is a big body guy who can get down the field, who can make plays one-on-one? So you get a guy opposite of that could really help their receiving game, because they do have a good tight end, Penegrew. Their run game is going to be much better with Reggie Bush at the helm. Nate Burleson's a good possession receiver, on those short routes, but in terms of getting down the field and going up and make plays, they don't have that second guy other than Megatron. That hurts. So that would be a good fit for Edwards. It would be a mutual fit, rather. And to finish this up, San Francisco 49ers, they have Crabtree out, Mario Manningham is hurt. Anquan Bolden was fantastic for the Super Bowl champion Ravens of this past season, so why not add Braylon Edwards to that? Now, I know that Braylon. I feel that that won't happen because Braylon Edwards. It just came to me right now. He was on San Francisco. That didn't work out. But why not bring him in again? You got those two guys on the pup list. Why not have another guy opposite of Anquan Bolden, who isn't as consistent as Anquan is, but who can also make plays on the outside and win one-on-one matchups, and help you out with big plays, especially down the field. Why not have another guy that can do that and help that 49er offense, and not make it so reliant on Anquan Bolden as the #1 receiver and Vernon Davis and just a great run game? Why not have another option for Colin Kaepernick on the outside that he can get the ball to? So they should really look into that, even though it didn't work out the first time. Second, that was a long one. Billy Cundiff. He was an all-pro kicker. He is one of the best kickers, regarded as one of the better kickers in the league. That one bad kick against the Patriots, unfortunately, I think really has ruined his career. Why not someone else give him a shot? Someone that maybe, I know the Jets maybe could have used him, but even though, Nick Folk has improved, he's still not great, but he's improved, since a few years back. But why not someone else just bring him in, even if he's a backup? When I think Packers, why not bring him in? They're not crazy on Mason Crosby's late. He's very erratic of late, very inconsistent of late. Why not bring him in? So if Mason Crosby struggles, you have a guy, the second guy who maybe you could just lean on for a little bit, because you know what? Except for that one kick, he was highly regarded as one of the best kickers, and that's fact. That's a fact. It's factual. It's not just opinion. He's an all-pro. So, Packers, give him a shot. Joe McKnight. I think the Seahawks would be a good place for Joe McKnight, due to the fact that Leon Washington. I don't believe he's on the check me on this. I don't believe he's on the Seattle Seahawks. So you have a guy like Joe McKnight, who's actually a lot like Leon Washington, not as good of a returner, but who can return kicks. Maybe play halfback in a pinch, just in blowout games or injuries, and just fill in there. But return kicks, kick returns or punt returns, much like Leon Washington did, and replace that, fill that void. And also Percy Harvin can't do that as of now because we know he's injured. So Seahawks, that's a good place. Dan Carpenter, solid kicker for the Dolphins. A little erratic last year, but overall a solid kicker. I'm going to say the exact same thing. Packers. Why not give him a shot? You're not crazy about how erratic and inconsistent Mason Crosby's been. Why not bring in this guy Dan Carpenter, who overall career-wise is regarded as a solid kicker? Why not bring him in as a backup? If Crosby, like if there's a David Akers type of situation with Mason Crosby this season, why not bring him in? Dante Stallworth, released by the Redskins, serviceable slot type of player, not a great player, but a guy that I feel is pretty consistent. He catches the balls that are thrown to him. He just goes out, he does his job. Patriots, you guys had him for a few stints, I believe. Why not bring him back? Again, they're thin at wide receiver. Tom Brady, he knows the system. Tom Brady's played with Dante before. Have him as another slot type of receiver. He could play a little bit of wide out. He's more of an over the middle possession receiver. Why not bring him back? Bring him back. It adds depth, so, in case you get another injury and you're already a little thin at receiver, why not add him for some depth? Why not? And also, this might surprise some people, Cardinals. Why not Cardinals bring him in? You got a guy, Larry Fitzgerald, one of the best wide receivers in the game. Michael Floyd, good up-and-coming wide receiver on that team. Why not bring in Dante Stallworth? Because outside of that, they don't have a lot of wide receiver talent. And just as a guy, maybe he could just play a little bit of slot receiver for him, make a little bit of plays, in the middle of the field, and, just another guy that Carson Palmer can throw the ball to in a pinch. Number 6, I'm going to go with Josh Cribbs. There's a bunch of teams. I'll actually add one just now. Same thing. I think he should go to the Cardinals. Look at the Cardinals. I don't know if they have a kick returner at this point, so I feel like he'd be a good kick returner, as LaRod Stevens-Howling is no longer there. So I feel like he could return kicks on punt punt return, kick return. He could be good there. Help their offense, get in good field position. Help out their special teams, and just be another receiver, just another body on the depth chart. Giants can use this guy. You got David Wilson, who looks like is going to be the franchise back. So I don't know if they want to necessarily risk him being the kick returner, and you got a guy like Ruben Randall who looks like he'll be the third string receiver. So I don't think they're going to use him at punt returns. They lose Dominic Hickson. Give him a call. He could he could help out. 49ers, he could replace Ted Ginn, fill that void. Seahawks, he can replace Leon Washington. Patriots, I feel like he could just, like Bill Belichick could just use him as a receiver, as a returner, like just do a bunch of things for them. And again, same thing as I alluded to before, just another body at receiver. To round out this list, he was cut a while ago, Michael Turner. Why isn't this guy signed? Because he's I think he's a little bit burned out from all the carries he got and all, the beating he took back in his Atlanta days, which was as recent as last year, which they didn't really use him much last year, but years past before that, of course. If I'm the New York Jets, why not give this guy a call? You got, the New York Jets, they can't score touchdowns. They have awful problems in the red zone. They don't have a running back who can at least break off the big run because they're so thin at wide receiver, and they have a quarterback who's very poor at throwing the ball. Why not give him a call? He can help you get touchdowns. Why not give Michael Turner a shot? Just a guy who can maybe help them control the clock instead of being such a turnover-prone offense. Give him a call. Detroit Lions, he could be a good change of pace back. You got Reggie Bush, who does everything, and I consider him more of a speed halfback. Why not, bring this guy in, and maybe make that run game something to be more of a force to be reckoned with. And it already is, just based on the fact that Reggie Bush is there, but maybe you add another power back behind Reggie Bush. That run game could be really solid, and that could open things up for that, that pass game that was already pretty good. So Lions, I look at the Chargers due to the fact that Ryan Matthews is constantly hurt. I think he used to play on the Chargers, Michael Turner, if I'm not mistaken. He's always hurt. Another guy, maybe, if you want to keep Matthews healthy, you bring in him. And because that's another thing, their passing attack hasn't been what it was. So maybe they, can start running the ball more. Their offense could really get better. Miami Dolphins lost Reggie Bush, of course. They have Brian Hartline. They have Mike Wallace. They have a solid young quarterback in a Ryan Tannehill. Solid defense. Why not have a guy in your backfield, which I believe they did draft Lamar Miller, but Daniel Thomas was drafted pretty high, I believe. Check me on that. And he didn't pan out. So in case this guy doesn't pan out, you have a guy that can get yards and, run tough for you. So, and not make it all about the pass game, and also take a little pressure off of the rookie and his workload. And then to round that out, he's ultimately a good place I think for him to replace Steven Jackson of the Rams, who went to the Falcons. So they would be kind of like counterparts in that, in that predicament. Why not go to the Rams, who add Jake Long? So, now they actually have a guy to protect the blind side of Sam Bradford. They add Tavon Austin, who make plays all over the field, particularly in the slot. He's kind of a small, quick guy. And Jared Cook, who can make plays, one of the most dynamic tight ends in the game. So why not add a running back that can, take a little pressure off the pass game and just help out Sam Bradford, make his life a little bit easier than it's been in the couple years past. So that concludes my list of cuts. If there's anyone you want to add, just let me know. Keep taking a look at my Twitter page. And just if you want to, add any other teams that maybe, could use these players, or you want to dispute my opinions, you're free to do that in the comment section as well. Thank you very much.